or make myself cough more. One of the two.
Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer. We're live,
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
And
I used to be undead, so that's an improvement.
Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 5 a.m. on Saturday in London. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Real quick, I want to thank my sister for the cute bag with the Everyday Spacer logo on it. She embroiders all sorts of things. Let me know if she can create something for you. All right, tonight we have a crunchy topic. It's going to be cyber security. We'll be back in 8.3 seconds. Due to the recent takedown of Lockbit Ransomware Gang by Britain's National Crime Agency and various other governmental agencies, Jeff will be talking about cybersecurity. What did we learn from the Lockbit takedown? What are the security threats you might be facing, and how do you protect yourself from them? Jeff is a computer expert. Tell us about this, Jeff, right after you say hi to her.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
And hi, Scott.
Yes, a lot of people have definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about space all the time, and I figured, well, Lockbit just got taken down, sort of. And I do IT and cybersecurity myself, so I figured I'd give a quick rundown on what.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. Scott and Dawn, we really appreciate you being here. Jeff, go ahead and let me move this.
Yeah, can you share?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. If you really want me to.
Yeah.
That?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so this is Krebs on security. It's a bit techy for most people, but hey, he has a good stuff on the takedown, and I'll be summarizing off of this. Also, the British National Crime Agency wrote a bit about it, and so did the Office of Public Affairs for U.S. Department of Justice. Basically, this was a multinational action against Lockbit.
And Lockbit was...
It's a cybercrime gang.
Like also international, or?
Ish. Well, here's the thing. Cybercrime gangs are generally either state-sponsored or state-tolerated.
Okay.
And they come from one of just a few places. Most of them are from China. Then there's Russia, Iran, and North Korea.
Okay.
And North Koreans are very active, but there aren't very many of them just because, they have a hard time getting computers.
I mean, they could be because, network and internet and
right.
But you're saying they're not really that dispersed. They're not organized by that kind of a thing.
Back 20 years ago, it was like the 14-year-old kid hacking something to see if he could get away with it. Now it's not. China, University of Beijing, basically their computer students are recruited as hackers. And Iran, Iranian Guard, their main military, that's the source of their hackers. North Korea, again, military or just government employees are the hackers. Generally students, because they've learned the most recently, therefore they know the most. Russia is kind of different in that the general corruption of Russia just allows the cyber gangs.
Oh, we have someone new. Mohammed Yassin?
Yep.
From Pakistan. Welcome. Yep. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, there are a couple of groups from Pakistan, but not a lot. There's also a couple groups there's a couple groups from just about everywhere.
Got it. It's interesting how they're kind of a little bit different things,
right? Yeah.
in
So
the different areas.
so aside from
you hear that term and you think, oh, this is a international.
right, but
no, not so much.
But aside from the big four,
Mhm.
you then have Brazil as I think one of the other leading ones.
Okay,
India has a bunch of them just because there's a lot of people there.
makes sense.
That's also probably why China has the most, just because there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, we have 1.5 billion
Right.
people in their country.
And all those four places, the main places, have something in common. This hackers are tolerated or encouraged as long as they attack the enemies of the state. But those four countries have another thing in common. They consider everyone else to be enemies of the state.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, so these aren't targeted. Although recently Russian hackers are targeting Ukraine and European countries that help them.
Kind of makes sense.
But yeah.
You got
go
some
ahead.
comments. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Muhammad, I think he wants to come to the States, I take it, for education. Please tell me anyway. Come to your, that's a good question. And I don't really have any expertise in that area. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I don't. I know that there are education visas. I know that H-1B, visas, but
yeah, that changes. That's, continually changing the rules when it expires.
Yeah, that's just not my expertise.
You're going to have to look at, whatever you can to figure that out, because I really don't know. We do have Daniel here as well. Thanks, Daniel, for joining us. Everyday cyberspacers. And then Janie, thank you very much for being here with us as well. Good evening from Hollywood, California. Interesting topic. Grateful for tech topic. Blessings all. Yeah, I agree. And so I'll talk about Lockbit just a little bit, because it goes into, they're a ransomware gang. Okay. So what is ransomware? I mean, excellent. I was going to ask you if you didn't say something. Okay. It used to be that ransomware was, they would encrypt your server. He's doing this. And they would encrypt your server. Okay. And then charge you money for a decryptor. Right. Or at least it would act like it, because I think it would just throw up a screen and. Right. Well, and yeah, once they're done encrypting it, they would then, and it was basically shotgun. They would get a few big companies, and then everyday people would get hit by it too. But here's one of the things that people learned is that there was only a 60% chance of getting your data back if you paid the ransom. Wow. Hi, Cliff. Hey, Cliff. Does that mean clear skies? He says hi from sunny Queensland, 38.6 Celsius and rising. All right. And it's raining here, Cliff. So if you're out of our system, yeah, if it's sunny there, it's because you gave us the rain. But so that was ransomware for a very long time, and it started dropping because people stopped paying, because even if you paid, you wouldn't necessarily get anything. Oh, thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Muhammad. Your program is very nice and very beautiful. Thank you. We really appreciate that. And so, yeah, I mean, if it doesn't pay, there's no point in keeping doing it. Yeah, and a lot of countries, including the U.S., made it illegal to pay ransom. Wow. Okay. Which means that if you got caught, you'd get, Oh. But then that just meant that fewer people were reporting the hacking. So unintended consequences. Yeah. Sounds like. So they made it so that it wasn't illegal to pay the ransom. It was illegal to not report. Oh, okay. So, and then try to get the
FBI in the U.S. get the FBI involved in it, so that if you paid the ransom, they could trace the funds with limited success. Sometimes they got something out of it, sometimes they didn't.
Interesting.
But still, there was only a 60% chance of getting your stuff back. Yeah, thanks. And so they started. One of the things that made it so that they stopped making it illegal is that the ransom gangs would then, if you paid the ransom, would then extort more money from you to not report that you'd paid the ransom. You know, but that was short-lived.
Daniel says if people rigorously backed up their data, hackers would mostly be out of luck.
Yes and no.
Oh.
They got more clever. Basically, any backed up data that's still attached, that if you can get to it, assume that the hackers can get to it.
Got it. So it had to be kind of airwalled if it was
right. Now,
really protected.
If you back it up and then physically remove it, say, here's a good way of backing up that if you really, really want to be paranoid about it, which if you've got a lot of data, okay.
Or important or secure or
and it
sensitive.
changes a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the daily backup that's continuously connected. Then you've got a weekly backup, 4 weekly backups, then 12 monthly backups. These are all different devices. Okay. You plug it in, you do the backup, you unplug it, and an annual backup. Okay. Now that's an awful lot of backups.
Well, it might be worth it to you. I mean, depending on.
Right. And in the tape drive time period, that's what we would do.
Okay. And I can totally see organizations that have, NASA would have been a good example of a company or an organization that really needed to keep track of what they had.
So then things evolved with cloud backups. And companies out there that their whole job is to back up your data, and they'll do it continuously. And the better ones out there have immutable backups, meaning you can't delete anything. You can't change it once it's backed up.
Wow. Sort of a read-only.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, here's the trouble with that they found. And this gets into social engineering, which I'll talk about, is what if the hackers somehow tricked the backup company into thinking that you canceled their service and to delete, for data protection purposes, delete all my clients' data. That has happened.
Wow.
So some of the companies out there have a 1-year retention or X number of year retention, even if you cancel.
Oh.
So just to prevent that sort of thing.
Okay.
But then there's also, they can get in and just take down the server that's holding the backups. It all depends on how much money how sophisticated they are and how much money they can.
They being the hackers.
The hackers, okay. Yeah.
All right.
But this is not something that most of you really are going to face. But you might have data with some company that gets hacked. And we'll talk about that later, because here's the next way that they started making money. It's called...
They being the hackers.
Sorry, yeah.
And this is after...
the double ransomware.
Okay.
Double or triple ransomware.
Okay.
1, before they scramble your data, they copy it. So now they've got a copy of your data. And so pay us money and we'll give you a decryptor, which may or may not work. And then pay us money or we'll release your customer's data out there.
Sounds like something like that happened to Target a few years ago.
Yeah, that's what happens to a lot of these guys.
All right.
And so that's double ransomware. Triple ransomware is they actually go to the customers whose data that they have and extort them. Otherwise, they'll release it. Now, this doesn't happen often, but in places where, let's say, the data would be embarrassing, like certain types of medical data, family planning clinic, elective surgery clinics, that sort of thing. People may actually pay to keep that a secret. So
wow, because that sounds like it's a never-ending blackmail sort of situation.
Right.
Okay.
You're right. Exactly. Because one of the things that they found from Lockbit.
You want me to go back there?
No, I'll just reference it because it's just a block of text.
Okay.
Is that, and I'll post links to a couple of. There's 3 different articles that have about the Lockbit takedown.
Great.
And they're similar. 2 of them are layman terms, and one of them is not.
Okay.
So, what was I going to say first? One of the things that they learned here when they took down Lockbit and they seized the servers.
Okay.
But the servers had data from people who'd paid the ransom to delete the data.
Oh, wow.
So just like you're only 60% chance of getting your data back if you pay the ransom, there's X percentage chance that they won't ransom you again later in the future. Just because they've still got your data. Because, if they're going to break into your computer and steal stuff, gee, why would you expect them to keep their word?
Yes. Good point.
So that's, these aren't going to be, these big groups are not going to be attacking you necessarily.
Okay.
Even if you get hit, they're not targeting you. Because aside from going after big companies, there is a consumer level, I would say, we'll say consumer level or average everyday person level attacks, but they're not targeting someone. It's kind of like they're throwing a bunch of fishing lines into dark waters.
Okay.
And, and they're not going for a fish. They're just going for some fish.
So maybe the gullible.
Right. The gullible, the unlucky.
Okay.
And so that's where, and Lockbit.
Do you want me to show it?
They took them down, yeah.
Okay.
They took them down.
There you go.
They did get a decryptor because they had the server. They had the source code of so
sounds
there's
kind of
a
useful.
Decryptor. And this is a good, no more ransom. And these are all the decryptors that are out there.
Okay.
So
when you say decryptor, tell me what.
Well, basically,
what you mean by that?
They encrypt your data, and so this is.
You mean the hackers do?
The hackers encrypt your data.
Okay.
These are little programs that have the right encryption key to decrypt your data.
Oh, okay. But I mean, why would these be even still pertinent if they're available like this?
Because a lot of people don't know that they exist. So one of the things that I want to do is show everyone that this exists.
Okay, cool.
Because if you get hit, and like I said, unless you own a corporation, you're not going to get hit by the big guys, but you might get hit on a drive-by thing. Got it.
Okay. So what's this URL?
nomoreransom.org.
Okay.
And it's decryption tools.
Okay.
So this is, I was going to copy, but go ahead. Thanks.
I don't know if these show up as clickable links when I do it like that. So let us know, folks.
And you can copy paste.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
But with all of the good news about ransomware servers getting taken down and stuff, they're back. Or at least someone's back calling themselves Lockbit.
So, yeah.
I mean, basically, it's like cockroaches. they
I
missed
see.
one. You know, they missed one.
Great.
So, and then he's bragging. He's saying that they didn't even get the right people, which they'd say no matter what. So take that with a
Got it.
mindful of salt.
Got it.
So,
You know about some interesting websites.
no, the Hacker News, yeah. This is fairly approachable, and they have links to stuff that is very
So Scott
techy.
says that one's not clickable.
Mm.
I guess we need the whole HTTP.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate that.
More here, just because I think that this
That
needs
was
to be
pretty
out there.
important. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great. Thanks.
I will put it in.
I know, Muhammad, you've been posting some stuff, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot. We don't really have good answers for you either on some of it. And I don't want to publicize your information like this. So, yeah. Oh,
okay.
Got it. Okay.
So
What
Facebook
happened?
doesn't want to show it. So if you're on
interesting.
Facebook, look at the link that Pam put up there.
Oh yeah, you got an error message.
Yeah, Facebook
you can
rejected
copy
it.
and paste.
Yeah.
And the link works. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I should show it.
Yeah. So just
Scott says it's doable if you copy paste it.
yeah. So just copy paste it. If you're on Facebook, it actually works going to LinkedIn or to YouTube.
Yeah.
So you know that's cool if you're on YouTube.
Oh, Scott says perfect link now. Okay. Yeah, for YouTube.
For YouTube, yeah.
We could see here that it failed on the
on
Facebook.
Yeah. So if you're on Facebook, you can just copy paste the one that Pam posted.
Yeah, it's pretty easy anyway.
Yeah. So there's another. Kaspersky is
right.
Is a antivirus company. Now there's a bunch of people involved in these. They have a few of them. So these are the ones that Kaspersky created, but this is a group of antivirus people. I mean, different companies, different. They, I think, have a partners. Europol, Kaspersky, actually, McAfee, Amazon, Barracuda makes. You know, basically, if you take a look, there's a lot of people are involved in this, and a lot of these are ones that I recognize, just like MC Soft makes good and ESET. Currently my favorite antivirus software.
Oh,
right now.
Okay.
Now that changes because some get better, some but currently ESET's my favorite.
And I remember Kaspersky was one you preferred, and then for a while it wasn't. I don't know how it is now.
It's kind of the whole pack is kind of like there's not much difference between them. So if I prefer one, it's because it's at the top of the bubble. Got it. You know, like the ones that you see here.
Oh, let me show it again.
Yeah, well, except for McAfee, which, they're okay. They're at the bottom of the bubble, but go ahead and show me too. Show.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're at the bottom of the bubble. Okay. Yeah, they're at the bottom. Like there's this bubble of good ones, and then everyone else is down here. Okay. You know, so just being in the bubble is good. Okay. So McAfee, it's at the bottom of the bubble, but it's in the bubble. So okay. So that's it's still good. It's just not great. But a lot of these groups, some government groups.
Oh, let me show again.
Yeah. Some government groups. So this is just a good thing. Now.
So is this some kind of collaboration?
Yes. Okay. All of these people, once someone finds a decryptor, they add it to this.
Ah, I see.
And they'll collaborate with each other. Yeah. Okay. They'll collaborate with each other. Cool. Because different groups might have different pieces of the puzzle. Okay. And so these are all groups that basically work together to fight cybercrime. Great. And
this is really neat. I knew
now
basically none of this.
Now the biggest risk here to you personally is that your data got consumed.
Okay.
And
And that
generally,
could be anywhere because I mean
Yeah.
you have stuff at banks and
right.
other kind of companies.
And we'll get to that too.
Yeah.
But in general, they'll have your email address.
Mm.
They'll have various amounts of your personal information. Oh, Janie has something.
Janie asks, "Are you familiar with Bitdefender?" I
Yes.
am actually.
Yes, and they're in the group. They're in the bubble.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Where they fit in that bubble really varies
Okay.
because they're all kind of like doing this. Like I said, Kaspersky, I used to like the best.
I remember.
Then ESET, and you don't have to show it right now.
Okay.
And MCSoft is pretty good. Okay, yeah. Bleeping Computer, surprisingly good. They don't really do antivirus, but they're really good at answering questions, helping people with stuff.
That's
like,
at least as useful.
Yeah. And they will ask for, like, give me the logs from this here, run this antivirus, give me the logs, and I'll tell you what's going on.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're a good community.
Okay.
So if you've got any technical, chops whatsoever, look at Bleeping Computer. I use them myself.
Okay.
Because
I never heard of that.
I see something new. There's a number of sources where I check it.
Okay. Do they have a chat or forum or something?
Yes, they do have a forum.
All right.
That's
sometimes it's a great place because you can kind of crowdsource an answer.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I like about different groups of that kind of thing.
There's Reddit has a forum about it too, but
that makes sense. Yep.
But good luck.
Oh, okay.
Because
is it just a lot of crap in there? Or?
Yes, and some of it's just people talking to seem like an expert. Some of it's people giving bad information on purpose. Nefarious actors, and sometimes they'll point you to websites that, and I'll get into that too. Where you shouldn't be going. Mm-hmm. So Reddit can be good as long as you know how to filter it.
Okay.
And no computer filter. The filter's here.
Yeah. Right.
So Reddit's okay as long as you know that there's a lot of chaff with the wheat. So
we going back here?
Yeah. Not yet.
Okay.
The thing that so they'll get your data, and they'll get your email address, and not likely your password directly, because the times when they would have unencrypted passwords on websites, most websites nowadays store your passwords encrypted.
Okay.
Because it's actually a fine, like in Europe, GDPR. In Europe, it's a hefty fine to have unencrypted passwords. Here,
you're talking about like an organization that holds passwords for a number of other people.
Any website that you sign up to.
Okay.
You log, like YouTube or or Facebook. Your password is stored. Otherwise, your password wouldn't work when you typed it in.
Yeah. So
they have a copy of it, but it's usually encrypted or hashed, as the term is. But we'll just say encrypted.
Okay.
So it's usually encrypted, so that's not direct help. However, once they're on there, they can take that list of hashes, take it offline where they can just hammer at them. And
sort of like stealing your safe and then trying all the combinations.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
At your leisure.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And with the supercomputers nowadays.
Yeah. Or even just ganging up a bunch of regular computers.
They can crack an 8-character password in about an hour.
Wow.
And that's with the supercomputers. That's
crazy.
And do they own these supercomputers? No, they hacked them. But
all right.
But that's so password security is something else that I'll get into. But since they can hack someone else and get your password, anytime you hear of a hack, for something that you've got a password in, change it. Also, and this will 99% of you do this. Do not use the same password on multiple sites, because you've got an email address there. If they find your password there, what are they going to do? Let's try this bank. Let's try Facebook. Let's try eBay. Sign in any place where you could have money, or they could find more information on you. IRS. If you do online, tax returns, you have to log in with an email address and a password. If it's the same password as you used on, let's say Yahoo, and Yahoo got hacked, guess what? You're screwed. So have different passwords. Have more complex passwords. And I'll go.
Don't use password for your password.
Yes.
There are people out there that do.
And okay.
I know them. I know some of them.
So do I.
Maybe not anymore, but.
And no, using the @ symbol for an A and an O and a 0 for the O, etc. Yeah, still doesn't do it. There's a list of like 5,000 passwords. Most common passwords out there. The first thing they do is try that list. It's the first thing they try. And there are patterns too. Like most passwords, they're either all lowercase, or the first character is uppercase, the rest is lowercase. The last 1 to 3 characters are numbers, or the second to last 1 to 3 characters are numbers, and the last character is an exclamation point. Almost every single one of you does that. I know. I don't necessarily know everyone on here because I can't see their names, but almost every single one of you does that. And if you don't do it, look to your left or right. That person does it. Because that's the most common way of doing a password. Oh, yeah.
Daniel has a question. How secure is two-factor authentication? God, I hate that too. It's like, well, what happens if I lose my phone?
Okay, there are ways around it.
You mean for the hackers?
For the hackers, yes. Okay. Part of it is what we call social engineering, tricking you into. Let's say you go to a website that purports to be, that looks a lot like Facebook, and you enter your information. Well, now they have it. And they can bypass. There's a number of tricks to bypassing two-factor. A lot of them don't work anymore.
Oh.
About 5 years ago, it used to be very common to bypass it.
Okay.
For one thing, if they hammer it too often with too many requests, it'll usually default to, to change your password. Which doesn't, or they'd call up and say, hey, I lost my phone, call their tech support. I lost my phone. I need to reset this. That's social engineering. Anytime you trick someone into doing something, whether they're tricking you or tricking the company that you're dealing with. Another one is, and this is not likely going to happen to you because it'll happen to people who are targets, who are big enough or important enough in their company. Now, it could be some low-level flunky in a big company that if they can get it on in that person's computer, they can use that to get into the rest of the company. So, so you're not safe just because you're not like, a CEO or vice president or something. Most hacks of companies are social engineering. Most hacks are going through someone who does something wrong.
So that's still true because I remember that being a thing
Oh yeah, it
a
still
long
is.
time ago.
And we'll get into emails. Don't click. Okay. No clicky. There are companies that do.
Oh, but kids are the worst too.
Yeah.
They just don't know things.
No.
No.
No. Kids know better, some of them. But
okay, sure.
There's a company that does phishing, and that's what this is called. Sending emails out to try to get people.
PH.
Yeah, PH.
ISH.
Yeah.
ING.
Yeah. So
with the PH.
Yeah. So they'll send out emails, try to get you to click on something, and it'll go to something that infects your computer somehow.
Mm.
And if you're on a work computer, then it might not put them on your network directly, but it gives them the ability to start working on getting onto your network.
Mm.
So that's, and a company that does phishing training, trains people not to, how to not fall into that.
Okay.
Found in most companies, well, actually, on average, in the companies that they looked at, 35% of the people will click on anything.
Okay. Don't do it.
That's without training. 35% of the people will click on anything.
Okay.
And if you've got a 100-person company, that's 3 people who are likely infecting your network. Now, so
you said 35. You mean 3.5?
No, 35%.
35%. That means 35 of 100.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. 35%. So that's 35.
Yes. Yes.
So
with the training, what happens with the training?
Only 5%.
That's a good reduction.
That's still 5 people.
Yes, it's still 5 people.
And those are people who can't be trained. No matter how much training you give them, they will click.
Give them a typewriter.
They told the story of getting calls from a C-level employee of a major corporation.
Okay.
Who was yelling at them because no matter how many times he clicked this thing 7 times and he still couldn't get his lottery numbers. It kept sending him to the stupid training video.
Okay.
There's 2 ways that companies deal with that. Either if they can get rid of them, they get rid of them. If they can't get rid of them, they somehow firewall the heck out of their computer and just basically make it so that they can't access anything without going through a whole bunch of hoops, because there's just, of that 5%, there's just nothing you can do for them.
Wow.
And I will show you some things about
how. Do you think that'll phase out as people get more and more accustomed to?
No.
I mean, some companies have folks that didn't grow up with computers. And,
right.
I mean, we didn't grow up with.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of did, but I mean, we didn't grow up with this kind of thing that we have now, that the kids growing up now have.
No, the 20-somethings are actually more likely to click than.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because they trust technology more than a lot of people.
Got it. This is interesting. I wouldn't have expected that.
And same thing on cell phones.
Cell phones.
And this is another thing. Yeah. The Apple and the Google stores don't download any apps except for from Apple or Google store. That's not 100%, safe. Because every once in a while, someone will, they'll produce a lot of good apps, then they'll stick something on there that isn't good.
Wow.
They develop a reputation and then put something on there. And its whole purpose is to basically somehow hack your phone. And that could get them passwords that you type in. Because once they own your device, anything that you type, they have.
Okay.
And so it doesn't matter if your password's encrypted somewhere. If you type it, they get it.
Got it. Because it's based on the keystrokes.
Right. And if it's a phone, And this is how some of the state-run, hackers go. When you see like, reporters getting hacked, or political people getting hacked on their phones are turned into spy devices.
Oh,
They can turn on the mic at will. They can take pictures at will, take video at will.
wow.
Yeah. So, and here's one of the things is that another new trick, well, not new, but it's new for the past few years, is that they'll produce an app that actually does what it says that it'll do. And then at some point, maybe a month or two later, it'll get an update that adds the malware features.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So here you are going along trusting this, and all of a sudden you can't.
Right.
Ouch. Wow.
So.
Yeah, things are getting very sophisticated out there. You want to be really careful.
In general,
no clicking.
Only go for major apps on a cell phone.
All right.
From major companies, or at worst, only someone who's been there for at least a year, maybe 2 years, and only an app that's been on there for at least a year.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen anyone who waits more than a year before triggering, the update.
Okay. So they're a little impatient. You
Yeah.
can count on their impatience. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this might change in the future, but currently,
so what happens? Do they just get caught out and then they're removed? Or?
Yeah, the App Store will just yank them.
Okay.
Both Apple.
That's nice.
Yeah, both Apple and here's a privacy issue, or who owns your phone, because both Apple and Android, Google Android, will delete the app from your phone if it decides that it's a bad app.
Okay.
Which, yes, they have the power to do that. So if they decide that politically they don't like an app, can they delete it? Yes, they can.
Interesting. Okay.
Will people learn about that and make noise about it? Probably. But, this is the power that they have. So, good plus bad. There are very few things that, almost they're in the computer realm. I don't know of any solutions that don't cause more problems. It's just, hopefully the problems aren't as big as the ones that they solved. So, so.
Isn't it exciting?
Yeah. So careful what you click
Yikes.
on.
You had another rule too. One was don't click, and what was the other one? We were talking about it like yesterday. Do you remember?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. Maybe I will. Or maybe you will later.
Yeah, and I got stupid about it too, because I said no clicky and no something.
Yeah.
And ended it with a Y too.
Yeah.
But no clicky, no telly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody
because
call you.
Yeah. When you get a call, unless you know them, it's fake. Like currently, there's a bunch of calls going out about, your IRS debt in the U.S.
This is the time
different,
of year
your
in the
tax
US,
debt.
yeah.
Whichever country you're in, your tax debt, whatever group it is, and they'll say, at least in the U.S., they say that they work with the IRS. Now, here's what they want: they want your social security number and your full name, because with that, they can sign up and put their bank account number in with the IRS, and it works differently with other countries, but this is the way it works in the US. And when you do a tax refund, when you do a refund, it'll go to their bank.
Ouch. Or,
random person calls you to do your tax return. That money's not going to you if they did the tax return. You may get a copy of the tax return saying that with your bank information, and here's the other thing is that if you don't have the mail the check in that, if you give them your tax information on the tax return, well, this fly-by-night company now also has your bank info. So anyone who calls up if they call you and need you to verify your information, no. Because if they called you, they know who you are. So no one calls you and needs you to verify your information.
No.
So never give your information if they call you. There's another scam going out right now that they'll call you and say that they're with the police, and you know, you have to pay them over the phone
No.
or you'll get arrested. Well, at least in the US,
Oh yeah.
that doesn't happen.
There were people on nextdoor.com who were saying
locally. Yeah.
Yeah, here locally that there was like, I got scammed.
Right. And here's
several of them.
You know, one, the police don't do that.
No.
Two, the police generally do not take Xbox cards.
Oh, Dawn says, know someone who had that happen with their monthly retirement check.
Yep.
Ouch.
Yeah. And so
that's hard.
Yeah. So be very cautious with your own information. There's another one out there.
I'm blown away by how sophisticated some of these are getting.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Don't talk to robots either.
Hello?
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. What? Hello?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Never say the word yes to a robot. If you get a call and the robot is asking you a question, never say the word yes. Because this was happening a lot, not so much now, but it'll probably come back. Is that they would change your phone plan to another carrier at a much higher price.
Oh wow.
And they would ask you a question that you said yes to, and then cut that yes into a question of, do you want to change your phone carrier? And then claim that you authorized the change.
Mm-hmm.
So don't say yes to any robot. It's just... I
seriously act like I can't hear them. Hello?
Yeah.
They get tired and hang up.
So yeah, so no clicky, no telly. That was what we were joking about this morning.
Right. I say correct, not yes. Oh, that's good.
Yes, because you're not agreeing to anything when you say correct. So very good, Janie. Very good. I'll start using that.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I just don't answer.
No.
Or I'll say a nonsense word.
That's easy for you.
Fish. What?
We've seen some videos out there where these guys will play with them. And I mean, they seriously...
Well, you can't play with a robot too much, but if someone calls you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one man, he's sitting there like hacking into their system and removing all of their files and watching them on the camera, freaking out about all their files going away.
Right. That is technically illegal.
Okay, but still really funny.
And yes, he's posted those videos on YouTube, and I'm sure that there are FBI guys just looking at that and laughing their asses off and thinking, and they probably call him and say, yeah, don't do that again.
Seems like a public service to me, though. I mean, wrap up their time, remove all their files.
Yeah. But so here, show this.
Sure.
And I will, if you want to know if some company that you have I been pwned, has your email address been in a data breach? And now I'm going to do Jeff at Everyday Spacer. Just get the spelling.
I can't really see it.
Have I been PWNED.com? Yeah.
All right. Won't be clickable, but there is the website that Jeff is demonstrating right now.
No, I don't use this for much, and I haven't actually done the search on this one, so I'll just see what I get.
Good news.
Yeah, so it's not common enough. Now let's just use...
you can use mine, because I use it all the time.
Yeah, okay.
This ought to be interesting. Oh,
okay.
Good. Yay.
Now,
what have I been pawned? What does it mean exactly?
Owned.
Owned.
It comes from a computer game that was translated from Japanese, and they misspelled you've been owned.
Okay. All right.
So
Now, what does that really mean, though? What does the owned
basically
really
means
mean?
also comes from computer game. I own all of your bases.
Ah.
It was,
okay.
going against a computer.
Okay.
In fact, bad translation from Japanese was all your base are mine.
Got it.
So that's the
Whoa,
original of that.
If that's their grammar, yeah.
Yeah.
I see some numbers at the bottom there. So I can't really tell what they are, though.
Owned websites. So,
Uh-huh.
so like Yahoo, anyone who's been hacked is on
Daniel found it. I love this. All your bases are belong to us.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Thanks, Daniel.
These 12, almost 13 billion accounts.
Wow.
Are on here. So now let's look at.
This is your work address.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm not gonna put this in any kind of text. Yes.
Oh
okay.
no.
Well, here's the thing. I'm on so many different sites at work. So.
Yeah.
So. But. Only 2. So that's
not terrible.
That's not terrible. Because for one thing, I'm not on any social media at work.
Yeah.
But so data enrichment exposure from PDL customer. Unprotected. So this is technical stuff, but they will say compromised data, email addresses, employers, geographic locations, job titles, names, phone numbers, social media profiles. As you can tell, that this is this is something that a website that a professional would be on, because that's the sort of information that they have on there.
Okay.
Verifications.io. This is dates of birth, email addresses, employers, genders, geographic locations, IP addresses, job titles, names, phone numbers, physical addresses. Fortunately, this is my work one, so okay, yes, they can find where the office is. So, for me, not much, because neither of these say passwords either.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't manage to get passwords from either of these.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would recommend keeping this site bookmarked, or at least somewhere where you know it, and check it when we're done here. Check it right now if you want. But anything that shows up on there, if you haven't already changed that password, change it, and change your passwords from like I said, look at these passwords and try them on other things. So if you share that password, change anything that shares that password. This is
and my general feeling is that the more important it is, the more involved the password should be.
Right.
I mean, that's my general feeling. What's your take on that?
Yeah.
And I really don't like the robot things. It's like, well,
right.
Couldn't they hack that and get everything?
There's a utility versus security.
Mm-hmm.
I can have my computer super secure. I turn it off. No one can hack it.
Yes.
But utility is 0. Security is infinite. Utility is 0.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be a happy medium.
Trade-offs always.
Yes. So, and here's Roger Grimes. I listened to him a lot.
Wait. Let me
let
me go there.
Show this. Did a search for him on YouTube.
So this is his channel, or?
Well, he does a lot of work for KnowBe4. And a lot of these, if he has a new talk, I listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know.
Okay.
And for
so
one
it's a good
thing,
resource.
And I recommend looking like hacking MFA. This is how I know that MFA isn't the end all be all, Daniel.
Is that the spelling?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the person that Jeff has referenced.
Yeah.
It's not a link of any sort, just the man's name. And you did a search on YouTube, so you'll find things too.
Yeah. So here's my favorite one here. Masterclass on cybersecurity. Roger Grimes teaches password best practices.
Ah,
So most of what I say is from this. So if you really want to get like an hour's worth of that,
wow.
this is a good thing.
Looks like a really great resource.
Ransomware mitigation.
Okay.
Teaches data-driven defenses. Some of this is for companies, and then see, you've got some weird stuff there, and he's very approachable. The way he talks is very approachable.
Okay.
So there are others that give talks, but I wouldn't throw random people at them, at those talks. So that is a very good resource.
Okay. That's Roger Grimes.
Yeah. And the password best practices. Because one of the things that he says is that a 12-character, absolutely random password is unhackable within years. I mean, well,
you may forget it too.
any password is crackable.
Okay.
But it's how long it takes. And even with the supercomputers, it will take multiples of years to crack. Now, completely random means just gibberish. So like when you go, a lot of browsers now can create a password for you, and it'll just be a random set of letters, numbers, and symbols.
How long are those? Are they 12 characters?
You can usually set them, but 12 or more. And you can never remember them. You have to copy them somewhere.
No.
So a password manager, and Roger loves and hates password managers.
I understand that.
They're really good for having different passwords for each website and having completely random passwords. And for most browsers, when you use a password manager, you never type the password. So if your computer's been hacked itself, it just basically slots itself in and never gets typed on your computer.
Okay.
So there's a lot of good things about password managers. Bad thing.
Yes.
You still need to put in a password to get into it. So if someone gets that password, they've got all your passwords. Another bad thing about it. LastPass got hacked. They got everyone's passwords.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's a password manager.
And Daniel says, don't most systems lock you out after 3 or so failed password attempts?
Yes.
I think it depends. Most like bank things.
It depends.
Yeah.
But remember that if they're not trying to hack your password directly. If they hacked into that server already and they got a list of your password hashes, which is the encrypted list of passwords, they pull those off of that server and then run decryption software to try to break it. And so once they break it, then they can use that to get back into your account specifically and then do stuff with your account or use that password on a different account. So yes, and there are ways around that. They have robots that will try your password twice every day for however long it takes, because it's all programmed. And they'll have a list of 100,000 people that they're trying this on.
That'll take up your day.
No, it won't.
Well, I mean, it'll take up the robot's day,
Right, yeah, but it's not running on their machine, so why do they care?
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So, and another thing is that one of the reasons why your computer could be hacked is to act as a robot for hackers. There's 3 reasons for them to hack your computer. And if someone calls you up here's another, I'll do this first and how they get there. But when they hack your computer, 1, they want to see what you're typing. They want to see what data you have on your computer that they could use directly.
Okay.
2, they might want to use your computer for crypto mining, which means that they're running your computer really hot, using up all your resources and your electricity at home. Yeah. And they can run up your electric bills a lot. So you're paying for them making money. The other thing that they'll use your computer for is as a robot or bot, as we call it. And botnets are like group swarms of hacked computers. And a botnet can be 10,000 to 100,000 or more computers. And you have all of these computers all hammering a website. Let's say they have a list of passwords for Facebook. Let's say they just got a list of passwords and have nothing else, but a list of, say, 1 million passwords. That's a kind of big, say 500,000 passwords that they can scrape from a lot of sites on the dark web. They don't have passwords or anything like that, but they can try each password twice on Facebook every day. Wow. Now, will they hack a specific account, in a week's time? No. Will they just by luck get like 10 to 20 accounts in a week? Yes. You see, and that's, so that's what's, that's the threat out there. Like I said, most of you are not targeted.
Not personally.
But most of you, yeah. But if you but they're throwing lines in dark water. They're just looking to get someone. And if you're it, you're it. One of the common scams, and I just saw it just today, actually. Someone came in with a computer. It was making noise. Meh, meh, meh. You've got viruses. Do not, whatever you do, don't turn off your computer because that'll stop the attack. But, one, you probably don't have viruses. It's just an ad. And it's an ad that used code to show full screen, and since the ad is now full screen, any clicks or typing that you do is now going into the ad, and they're taking that and not doing anything with it. So no matter what you click or type, nothing happens.
Okay.
So, and they have a phone number. Call us, and we'll give you a special keystroke so that we can then get onto your computer and solve your viruses, which means that they get on your computer and do whatever they want to it.
Don't do it.
Right. Do not do it. For Windows, Control-Alt-Delete, and then you can bring up Task Manager. And then in Task Manager, find your browser, kill it. And you'll find that big screen just goes away now. Then next time you go in your browser, when it asks you if you want to reload pages, say no. Now you're done.
Yeah.
Now, if you go back to that website again, they're probably still delivering that ad. So don't go to that website for about a day or two. Because eventually they'll find out that that's going on, and I'm not picking on Yahoo, but I'll just use Yahoo because they show ads on their stuff. And they're really scummy about it in that if you have an ad blocker, they won't let you look at your email. Yeah.
Nice.
Dealt with that this past week, actually. 2 different people. But so they show ads. They don't want to be known for giving out malicious stuff. So if they find out about it, they'll yank it. And they'll scan ads too.
A lot of places you can send a kind of email, like something at yahoo.com. Is it
abuse at
abuse
yeah.
ABUSE at
used to be more common. Now that's not usually even looked at anymore.
So Cliff writes, good info, good show, thanks. And lots of phone scams every day, and lots of Facebook post office parcel delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Oh, he also has another one. Then you got telemarketing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So many robots now.
Yeah. This is a common in the US. I don't know about other places, but you'll get sent an invoice for an eBay purchase or an Amazon purchase. And click on this. If this wasn't, you'll be charged $799.
Gosh, I've seen that one so much.
Yeah. Click on this, if this wasn't you, click on this and we'll remove it. And you click on it and it says sign in, it looks like Amazon. You give them your account and password. And here's the thing, Daniel. If you have but Daniel had a question about 2FA.
Got it.
So if you have 2FA set up, they send a text to your phone with a code. And where do you type your code? Into that fake screen. So now that they have your account, your password, and your code, which is good for about, a minute or two. But as soon as you type it into the screen, it goes right into it. And now they're on your Amazon account.
Wow.
And what do? They change the password. They change the contact phone number. They change the contact email address. And they start making purchases. So, that's, so if any website contacts you via email, never click on a link for that website. Always.
No clicky.
Yes. Always type it directly into a browser. There are none. In fact, most of the major websites very specifically will never give you a link to click.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to show you something.
Wait. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Rogue URLs. When you see an email address or a URL, if you hover over it, you can usually see
yes.
the URL. Now, these are lookalike domains. These are the common things that people trick you with. Lookalike domain like LL, LinkedIn with an LL instead of an LI, because it looks right. So, if you're not paying attention, and they can also do this in email addresses too. That's another thing. If you get something from Amazon and it's coming from gobbledygook at, something dot, LZ, it's not Amazon. It's not Amazon.
Yeah. There's a lot of simple checks you can do, like looking at that kind of thing.
Right.
Why don't you grab that URL and put it into the chat for people?
Yeah. Because this is a PDF.
Thank you. While he's doing that.
Yeah.
Then it makes it clickable for you.
Yeah. Also, a very simple thing. Yeah. And you'll be able to see this a lot better in there. Another thing is, I'll use Microsoft. There's a lot of subdomains and stuff. So something.microsoft.com goes to Microsoft. Microsoft.something.com goes somewhere else. So it's always the thing right before the .com. And let's see, Daniel says, do you recommend using a VPN?
Which is VPN is
virtual private network.
Okay.
Basically, it's what makes your computer basically goes directly to some other website that then transmits your stuff as if you're from that other server.
It basically masks your computer.
No, I don't disrecommend it. Okay.
Okay.
I don't have anything against it, but it will not stop any of the stuff that I've talked about. Because if you give your password, you give your password. It has to get to Amazon or wherever at some point. So it doesn't matter where your physical computer is. Now, there are some privacy issues. So sure. Cloudflare. Go to HTTPS 1.1.1. and I'm gonna.
And I'll actually show it up on the screen too when he does that. Daniel had another question in there too.
Yeah.
And Dawn's got a question.
Let's see if that'll actually display. Yes.
Looks good.
Okay. If you want a good free VPN, now you can't do some of the hacker things of make it look like you're from a specific region.
Oh.
But if you don't want, and this was a solution because a customer's ISP was doing ad blocking, which meant that they couldn't get their Yahoo email because ad blocking, Yahoo doesn't like it. So I put them on a VPN. Now they're not going through their ISP. They're tunneling directly to Cloudflare, which is on the backbone of the internet. I mean, just look up Cloudflare. They're like the highway system of the internet. So it goes directly to Cloudflare and then it pops out wherever it needs to go. So if you're looking for just security, that's a good one.
Okay, and that's this one again?
Yeah, that's that one.
Oh, different thing. All right, and Daniel had a second part to his question.
Using a Tor router.
I don't know what that is. Can you explain that?
Yeah. The Onion router, I think, with the Onion routing. Okay, there's a network called Tor. It's also called the dark web.
Oh.
And what it is it's stuff that isn't on any of the routing, any of the official routing. And with Tor, you go into it at a point and it bounces from server to server to server and then comes out at another point. That's the Tor network. So it anonymizes you.
Okay.
So it goes in there and it does sort of kind of like what VPNs do. However, the input and the in and out routers that you get into with Tor, there's like a 20% chance that someone is monitoring that router.
Okay. Whether
our government, a bad actors government, a bad actor group, someone is monitoring that router 20% of the time. So if they get lucky and you use one of their routers going in and one of their routers going out, they can tell this packet came in this one, came out that one, and now they know who you are. So is that 100%? No.
Janie asked us to try this again.
Okay, yeah. It's real simple. The big part of it is HTTPS, and the S is secure. So HTTP, you see a lot of things. The S means it's secure, means that it's encrypted in transmission. And this is not the VPN, but this gives you to the download link for the VPN.
Is the VPN the only thing there, or do you look for it by name?
No, it's here. Let me go to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just pop it up.
Yeah, and we did have. I think Daniel had a little bit more to his. Is this a cybersecurity move?
Oh,
remember he asked about the VPN.
The VPN
using Tor.
Not really.
Okay.
It won't stop anyone from hacking your computer. But it's just a personal. This is so.
Oh wait, let me share.
Here,
Sorry,
share.
I'm looking at it, but I'm not sharing. Sorry.
So here it is.
There you are.
You can get it for your phone,
right?
Mac OS, Windows, or Linux.
All right. So this is a trusted site.
Yes.
For now.
And
I'll show it again, Janie.
Yeah, it's a trusted site unless something really, really major happens.
I see. Okay. And this is where Janie was asking about it. Yeah. So please share.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead with Dawn's question?
Yes.
The first time I got that Amazon message, I just looked at my account info on the Amazon site. So yeah, instead of clicking anything, you went to Amazon.com and looked at your account.
That's the way to do it. Because if you click it and you actually go in, they own you.
Yeah, not good. No clicky.
No clicky. But and if they call you and want, want to get on your computer,
Hello.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
I can't hear you.
But or if like you get a message on your computer saying that you got hacked, call us. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah, if you really feel like you got a call, look up the official numbers. Call those numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've sent stuff like I've forwarded things I've gotten
Right.
to abuse at whatever.
Right.
If it appeared to come from whoever. That's who I sent it to.
Yeah, if you want someone to remote on and hack your computer, call me.
What?
I don't. And just, don't trust a stranger on your computer.
Okay, that's what's going on. And there's really good tools that can still protect you if someone like this guy will remote on to help you out, because
right, yeah,
that's what he does for a living. He's a computer expert. So.
But there's nothing that can protect you from yourself. That's, you can have the best antivirus software, but and that's social engineering. If they get you to do it to yourself, you're done. So the biggest thing is take a breath, think about what they're asking for.
Yeah, really good idea.
Yeah. So like I said, if your computer starts yelling at you, Control, Delete, Task Manager, kill your browser. Boom, done.
Cool.
When you fire it up, don't fire up your
but I miss those tinny little Oriental voices telling me they're Microsoft calling.
Yeah.
You'll get used to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Microsoft doesn't care if you have a virus. I'll just tell you that right now. Nice. They don't care. Now, here's another thing that you can do to protect yourself. Update. Update every single time most updates that they put out are security updates. They found a flaw, and if you care, one of the links that I showed was the hackernews.com. And
did you share that?
I don't think I shared it, but one of the websites that I referenced in an article was thehackernews.com. Thehackernews.com. If you care about looking at that kind of detail,
did I do it right?
Yeah.
All right, it's not clickable, but this will get you there. It's not too hard.
Yeah. You'll just skim the headlines on it. You'll see this new hack, that new hack, from a flaw in this software, a flaw in that software. They're not a great source of detail or of technical information, but they're a great source of what's the lay of the land. But if you just look at how many hacks involve flaws.
That's a good place to start, though, if you've got a concern or question.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you sit there and you go, I don't even know what this is called.
Right.
How do I do more research on it? Because I don't know what to call it.
Right.
I encounter that all the time.
Yeah. So it's a good layman's site. So
that's great.
And some of their articles go off a little bit into the nerd weeds, but you can skim those. And there's a little bit of ESL on there, but hey, the grammar is mostly good. And it's gotten better. The earlier ones were pretty bad.
So you had referenced a couple of things as you were talking. Did you actually cover those now?
I'm pretty sure, unless you remember.
I don't. I just wanted to say.
I hope I did. If I didn't cover something, shoot me a question. But
yeah, if you were like waiting with bated breath to hear what Jeff had to say about a particular thing, make sure and let us know so he can cover it for you.
And I'll probably look at this over the weekend and go, oh, darn it, I forgot to mention such and such. Okay.
We'll just come back and talk about that too.
Yeah. But this I knew I wasn't going to be able to get like a master class on this. I just had to be able to cover various things, and I covered a few things that I hadn't intended to cover just because they occurred to me, like just because they happened this past week or so. Like the VPN, because Daniel reminded me about VPNs, and so this is a good one.
Yeah.
Because they're too big to, the whole too big to fail. Because if they fail, the internet fails. So,
Okay.
So yeah. Unless someone else has a question, I think I'll let you.
Janie says, thanks for sharing some of your knowledge. Very informative. Blessings. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. You want me to do this part?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Jeff gets to take a break. Some stellar events this week, and we're talking about March 1st through March the 8th. And I'm going to reference you to skymaps.com because it is the 1st of March. And do we need to? Yeah. 3 more shows, yeah.
I probably could, but I'd probably get a little bit repetitive, or I'd have to go a little bit into the weeds, and I'd probably lose some people. But if there's a call for it, especially if there's a specific topic that you want me to cover.
And Daniel has it.
Daniel, yeah. Will online society reach a terminal point of complexity? Well, terminal.
Always ask the most interesting questions.
Terminal Daniel. In which respect of the word terminal? Will it always get more complex? Yes. Will there always be more things on there to help you with the complexity? Yes, by making it more complex in the background. Just hiding the complexity from you. So it gets more complex, but you have less control. Because they hide the complexity from you.
He's got another one.
Like a program is, yes. I
think that's already true.
Yeah.
Right?
And this gets into something that I wasn't going to cover because of the way most hacks, most attacks on major companies are through social engineering. They trick someone into doing something.
That's a good vulnerable spot to push.
The other way is what they call supply chain attacks. And because almost no programs, and you're a million lines of code, but that's not all written by one group of people. People reuse code. There are code repositories where, like, the code to do this one thing is held in this repository. And, just various different things, like draw a horizontal line, whatever. I mean, that's probably not, because that's just too simplistic. But if you think about it, stuff like the way your browser accesses your Ethernet card, your network card. That's a specific piece of code that probably everyone uses. And so if someone can get at that code and modify it, then everyone who uses that code ends up with a modified code. So that's a supply chain attack, and that's actually what took out some of the biggest news making hacks in the last few years were supply chain attacks. Now, how do they get to those code repositories? Because they need a password and stuff like that, or usually through social engineering. So even when it's not social engineering, usually it's social engineering. But so those are some of the ways. The other ways are they find a bug in a program. That's why Windows keeps updating, because they're closing. Someone found a bug, and they decided that, this is important, and they'll put a patch out that fixes it. And so the race is to get the patch before the bad guys see that there's a bug and exploit it and get you. So Windows well, all Microsoft programs, unless it's really important, will patch on the second Tuesday of the month.
Hmm.
It's called Patch Tuesday. Second Tuesday of the month. If your computer hasn't already downloaded updates, just do a check updates.
Yeah, you might actually notice in the morning it's like, hey, this thing rebooted overnight.
Well, if you've got the home version of Windows, it will reboot on its own. If you've got the Pro version, you can reboot yourself. But just do it. I don't want updates because it'll cause more problems. No. Even if it does, they'll have fixed flaws that people are exploiting. So, however many problems that it causes, it'll have solved a number of them. And typical bug counts in the updates are from 50 to 140.
Wow.
And that's not like, I'm not going from low to high. I'm going, this is the typical range. There are higher and there are lower. And that's per update. That's so in 1 month, they've closed that many flaws.
Wow.
So, okay.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to some stellar events this week.
Yes.
You want to go to skymaps.com for a free download. It's 2 pages. Really cool. Every month they do this, and you can check it out for free. March 1st, the beginning of Globe at Night. Again, they usually do these in 10-day stretches, and this is the same. March 1st through the 10th, and you get to pick. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you can look for either Orion, Canis Major, Crux. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you can look for Orion or Gemini. They're visible when it's clear. It's raining here, so I can't see them. The whole idea is to go outside, take a look, and report back to the site what you can see. And this gives them an idea of things like the light pollution in your area. And of course, I could go on tonight and say, well, it's cloudy and rainy. And that would still give them some information. I guess this is really important. So if you want to participate in a citizen science project, Globe at Night is perfect. March the 3rd, last quarter moon. March the 4th, the moon runs low. March 6th, Pluto and the moon are in conjunction.
Which you'll see one of them.
Yes. A lot is going on March the 8th. It's International Women's Day. And Mercury and Neptune are in conjunction. Well, you'll see.
Yeah. Well, if you've got some good optics, you can see Neptune. But
no, you can't.
Oh, you
it's
can't.
The other one. It's the other one.
Oh, it's
Uranus, right. Also, Venus and the moon are in conjunction, and so that's like Mercury, Venus, and moon. That's visible. And Mars and the moon are in conjunction, so that's actually pretty good. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Mars. It's Mars. Sorry. It starts with them. So Venus, Mars, moon in conjunction. Got to be in the morning, right?
Yeah. And Mercury and Neptune are in conjunction, but not in the same spot in the sky.
No, I don't know where Mercury is right now.
Well, I think one's in the morning, the other's in the
yeah, I think so right now. And all three of these should Venus, Moon, and Mars. They should be quite a sight. It's early in the morning. We have notes before the sun rises in the east. It's also our Friday night show. I'm going to look at a citizen science project, so stick around for the description on that. Daniel said something, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, somebody might think so, and heck, as far away as it is, it might, but we won't see it till anyway. Find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel. What inspires you the most for the coming week? I'm going to go ahead and talk about some other activities here. Go ahead and share screen.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of a fun YouTube video. 5 incredibly rare things that will appear in the sky in 2024. Now, incredibly rare, I don't know. But it does have a nice overview of some of the things coming up for this year. This was kind of neat because I was thinking about it a while ago and I found it again. Cliff Watson has this nice Pomona Astronomy Club on Facebook. And this woman is actually quite fascinating because she was a parachutist. And here it is, the first woman to jump from an airplane between 1913 and 1922. She completed over 1,100 jumps. She invented the ripcord and is the only female member of the early birds of aviation. I think she would make a great profile someday. We'll see. And then Cliff had this other one that would also make a fun profile. This one I found more recently. Albert Johns is involved with the Air Force's Advanced Manned Strategic Aircraft in the 8x6 supersonic wind tunnel at NASA's Lewis Research Center, and that is where I used to live and where Dawn currently lives. It's now called Glenn, though. In May of 1967, Johns became a renowned expert on inlets and nozzles over his 40-year career and was recognized in 1998 as one of NASA's superstars of modern aeronautics. Wouldn't he make a cool profile, too? And I thought this was a nice presentation for the things to look for in March. Of course, they have the dates, and they give you a little picture of what it is and a little bit of a description of it. I saw a comment.
Oh, Janie. Yeah, Janie loves the profiles.
Yes, we like them too, especially because I learn an awful lot every single time because it takes research to find out. I know who this person is, but I don't know much about them. So this was kind of nice. And let's see who Starwalk is on Facebook, and they put this nice graphic together for you. And this was just kind of fun. It's World War II Uncovered, talking about Petty Officer 3rd Class Fred Gwynn. Maybe you already recognize that name, but I will go ahead and give you a glimpse of who Fred is. And maybe you recognize him now, but I'll bet you recognize him for sure now. Herman Munster. And it's a nice write-up about this really interesting person. Heck, we could do a profile on him. Not exactly like...
He's not really a space person.
No, but he was definitely an interesting character. All right, and our friend Dave Renicky at the Mid-North Coast Astronomy and Science Center Facebook group has another version of the night sky for the month, basically, and he focuses on the southern hemisphere, particular Australia. March the 24th. Again, moon phases and distances and visible planets. This is a lot of great stuff. Really, really enjoy reading these. Oh, and Dawn, I meant to ask you, Dawn, what is the page for your new one? Oh, it's always the same page, isn't it? All right, I'll have to pull that up next week. What did we see? Oh, this was kind of fun. I found this on Facebook too. I don't really spend all my time on Facebook, but when I'm there, I find some cool stuff. And
yes, you do.
No, I don't. These neat.
Well, you sleep sometimes.
Yes, I do. These neat shirts aren't actually just decorative, but they do, demonstrate and positions and everything what's happening for this total solar eclipse on April 8th. There's several planets and a comet that are also going to be happening that very day. So I thought that was kind of cool. And let's see. Oh, this was again on Facebook, but really neat website, and they have all kinds of different. I guess it's tour expeditions. That's what it is. So this observatory, Mimpa.
Oh man, I read that and my brain said alpaca.
Yep. Okay. But they do have some Iceland trips and some Argentina. Oh, I thought they had the eclipse too, but I kind of got
there, Aruba
for 2025.
Oh, 25.
I thought it was going to be. Maybe I saw something else, but this was just seemed kind of fun, so I wanted to share that with you as well. All right, that was it. We can come back to us.
Okay.
Did we get any more comments?
Nope.
Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, why don't you read this part?
Okay.
I'm there. There we go.
If you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. And Daniel has actually, Dawn has something first. Giant solar storm this week. Till next time. Okay. Yeah.
I know it's late for you, Dawn.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Assuming we still have a power grid after this week, then.
Yes.
There is a large citizen science project to measure the eclipse effect on ionosphere radio propagation. Oh yeah, probably a bunch of the ham guys are probably working on that.
If you got a link for that, Daniel, send it to me, email, Facebook, whichever.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's very topical, so we might be able to slide it in before. Okay, so join us again next Friday, March 8th. Pam will tour the Zooniverse site. Things have changed. Yes, they've changed the site. We've done demonstrations of projects there. I'm not sure we've shown you around the site.
I don't think we have.
So Pam will pick something and talk about what she's thinking when she picks it.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pick something while we're demonstrating the site. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're welcome to make suggestions. Then she'll demonstrate that project.
Yep.
As she sees it for the first time.
Yeah, we usually prepare, but this will be a little more like how you would naturally go in, look for something, and then start working with it. So yeah, I kind of wanted to approach it from that perspective as completely new to maybe even the site, but definitely to the project.
Okay,
so
that sounds cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. How about we do a shout out? Thanks, Daniel, for being here, and Dawn and Janie, and I know Scott and Cliff. Let's see. Let's find the other names. I know Muhammad was here. We are so grateful that you're with us. We really appreciate that. Week after week after week, it's amazing. Yeah. All right. Anything else from you?
No.
Thanks for that great cybersecurity. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's not typical space stuff, but that's what I do. So
and I think it's really important too. So a little bit crunchy.
Yep.
It's good.
Okay.
All right. If you have any more comments for us, absolutely let us know. We will continue to watch for them. And have a great week, folks.
Yep.
We'll see you next Friday.
Yep.
Bye-bye.